Underdog Daily with the Badge Bros. Another road game, as you guys can see, but way too much happening on the platform of the people right now to take a day off for a pseudo holiday here. We got stuff going on in the lobbies to grind here. We got tons of best ball shaping up, finishing up here. We had our first ever daily college football slate there. We got Underdog Picks dropping a pick'em promo every single day this week to kick off NFL season. We got Kobayashi versus Joey Chestnuts at 3 p.m. Eastern today. There's promos up in the lobby for that one too. We were robbed of it on the 4th of July there, and Underdog made good on it to do it with Netflix there. We got Dingers Finals. Shout out to the community there. Sam Olson up top right now. Svi right behind him trying to chase him down. What else is new there? Your boys in 60th place. Couldn't scrape together a start from Michael King to usurp the 26 points or something from Carlos Rodon. But let's go game by game. Let's break down some of these NFL slates here, and let's mix it up on Underdog Fantasy with my boy Nez Takes.
Let's do it, man. How was your weekend? How's the lake house?
Good. Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. Yeah, we spent a bunch of time in the lake, spent a bunch of time in the ocean, did some boating. Yeah, sent you a funny picture of me driving the mini boat that drops off the back of the other boat there. Went to the spa, cleansed myself of the
spa guy.
Yeah, a little spa guy there for Nikki's birthday. We did a spa day, so cleansed myself of all my previous takes, Nez. I'm ready for week one here.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so, man. I mean, we got a really feisty primetime palooza up this week that I'm really excited to draft and have been drafting at high volume because, man, I don't know how long this thing is going to stay up. It's like 75% full on a Monday.
I mean, 0% chance it lasts till Thursday. It might be gone by tomorrow midday.
I think so. Like, I think we're getting PTP2 coming soon.
Ooh.
I would bet. I mean, it's way too fun of a slate not to.
It'd be very interesting wrinkle if we got Primetime Palooza 2 and Samaje Perine was in the player pool after the CEH news this morning. Because, I mean, to go right into the slate, I did maybe 5 of them this morning here. And, man, dude, every single team looks sick. Every single team looks good. And the only way I feel like bad about my teams is when I get fully boxed out at running back and I have to do like the Emmanuel Wilson, Justice Hill, like do that dart shot. I think those are the teams that are kind of like not drawing stone dead, but there's not enough to make up for at the other positions to chase that deficit in projected points by having to go to that, unless you paint like a game script narrative of someone blows the doors off someone, and none of the spreads imply that, none of the implied team totals imply that taking place. And like, you know, we don't play for blowouts, right? We play for what we can project for.
Exactly. Yeah, you do kind of have to get cute with some of those game scripts, though. Like you said, you know, if you do get boxed out, like, okay, well, I guess Justice Hill's taking one to the house in this iteration. You know, I mean, he's like the best the next best running back here. I'll pull up ADPs here.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we kind of just like zigged and zagged and found our way right into the Palooza there, which is a good thing. Yeah, no ADPs on the slate, obviously. So all 4 quarterbacks stay up at the top here. We can introduce some of our old school 2-game game theory principles here. The teams in which I have liked the best, Nez, is when I push quarterback and tight end, and I can end up with the 3rd and 4th round of that variety. Or if someone takes Jordan Love prematurely, because I think we can all agree that Jordan Love is stone cold lock for QB4 on this slate, just given the talent around him, which is not a terrible QB4 to have on a 2-gamer. But yeah, what have you been liking, dude?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of see these rankings here. This is definitely my preference here. Like AJ Brown, I think is clearly wide receiver 1 here, but there's the priority is running back. You just simply cannot get locked out of running back on this slate. Like if you're the 101, I think that's probably the worst pick on the board right now is to be the first overall pick. And you know, you have to go running back because if you don't, you are just not drafting a live team. Being locked out at running back is something I refuse to do on this slate. So I'm gonna have one of these guys on every single team, at least one.
have you been trying to put two together and then just taking your shot on like a certain quarterback falling back to you?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Mm.
Doing a lot of these two. Like I have a team where we've got. Let me just like kind of like build it in real time because I've got so many teams where I'm like Jordan Love, Saquon,
Mm-hmm.
Derek, Jaden Reed with Devontae Smith and like Dallas Goddard.
Yeah, solid.
Yeah, I'd say so. If I don't end up with one of these like good tight ends, I'm totally fine with the Isaiah Likely pick. I have a lot of Isaiah Likely this
Okay.
in this slate. And same with the Green Bay tight ends. I think Kraft is very interesting leverage this
Mm-hmm.
week on this slate. I have no problem if people prefer Luke Musgrave, but I think Kraft is going to go way overlooked. And really like all you are hoping for is like no tight ends break the slate,
Right.
and pretty. I mean, the odds are in your favor
Yeah.
for that more often than not.
Yeah, I mean the odds are always in your favor for a tight end to not break the slate. This slate in particular feels a little better as bully tight end for me though, because I was doing like the Kelsey plus Andrews thing a couple times there because I think the flex scoring of tight end could outscore RB2 or wide receiver 3. So I was doing it like that a little bit where I was actually emphasizing both tight ends
Meaning like
together,
Kelsey and Andrews
putting them together on a team.
with like Dontavian Wicks or
Uh, yeah, I guess as like your RB2 kind of thing, or I mean as your wide receiver too.
yeah, because I just don't know how you. I mean, unless you get like a really nice fall of
Okay, here
Andrews, if you're
I
prioritizing those two, I just that just feels like you're almost certainly learning Dontavian Wicks, buddy, with that.
okay. Let's
Um,
see here. I'll go to some of these completed. You can still hear me, right?
yep.
Okay, cool. I did it with. Let's see. Sorry, this is bad television. As I scroll to my Battle Royales tab.
I thought you were doing this a lot, John. I thought you'd be able to find one of these with these.
Yeah, I have been. Okay, here's one. Okay, this one's not bad. Oh, but I got boxed out at running back. That's what I ended up doing. So instead of Wicks, I do have like an Emmanuel Wilson build with it. So that's gross. Yeah, like Andrews, Kelsey, Lamar, Xavier Worthy, Christian Watson, Emmanuel Wilson. Like that, yeah, that doesn't feel good at all. I've done some stuff like this, like Musgrave as the second tight end with an Andrews team, but with like Jalen Hurts and play the other ball game. Yeah.
And so what's that team sound like?
Shoot, I just.
Oh, sorry,
Uh,
you just came back.
yeah. Hurts, Jacobs, AJ Brown, Romeo Dobbs, Andrews, Musgrave.
Okay.
So like, do the back end, the second tight end outscores the flex? I don't know, man. It's not. It's not good.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still like if you are looking at your very last pick and you have those Green Bay tight ends and you have Rashad Bateman and you have
Mm-hmm.
Justice Hill, I mean, I think Kraft is going to be the least taken out of that lineup that you're looking at,
Right.
and they're the same. They're the same pick. So,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that that's bad, honestly. Like if you're in a lobby and you're drafting a team and your last pick is not like one of these top whatever it is 25,
16. Yeah.
20, like 20 players, like you might as well just build out a team where it's like this is a very hyper specific scenario, but if this happens I am winning. Because I mean, let's face it, like you are building a team that is suboptimal compared to a team that is being drafted, at 1 out of every 10 lobbies. Like
Right.
there's
Right.
just there are really good teams being built. Sometimes you're in a tough lobby. Nobody's getting one of those like awesome teams. You need to think about how you're treating that lobby. Like when I'm in a really sharp lobby and I know I'm not going to get like a nutted run out, like that's when I will take like a Kelsey team. And I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
let me get Kelsey here because I'm not going to love my team anyways because I know everybody in here is sharp. So
Yeah.
that's when I choose to kind of do things that I normally wouldn't be doing in a room where there's maybe two badgeless drafters.
Sure, yeah. What's your favorite way to build those tight end based teams like that in a sharp lobby right now? Do you go like running back tight end to start and then hope you can push like a Mahomes or something like that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I
Mm,
do. So what I
yeah,
really like to do is if I'm at the three hole, and let's say I know I can get one of those top four running backs on the way back, where like I'm at the three hole, three running backs left, that's when I will like, okay, I'm doing Kelsey here. And
right,
then get one of those running backs back and then like try to push Mahomes, build the best wide receiver core I can around that pick. But it's really hard to feel good about your wide receiver three or your running back two when you are taking Mahomes or Andrews early. Like
right.
it is tough to
Yeah,
feel good about that. You
yeah,
need them to
that's so
break the
true.
slate.
Yeah, and I think you have to keep that in mind when you're building, like, right? That's a really good thought process is like when you spin that narrative, what then do you pair with it? So if Kelsey breaks slate, what then pairs best with Kelsey breaking slate?
Mhm. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is
And yeah.
which is probably touchdowns from the other game environment from from like WR3.
When you say other game environment, like the other game.
Yeah, yeah, like literally the
So
other
so
game.
doing doing like Green Bay and Philly
Yeah.
with that. Mhm.
With the
Mhm.
Kelsey Mahomes and literally just like no run back on the Kelsey Mahomes. No, I mean, maybe you can get away with like a Bateman or something like that
Mhm.
as like on that side, or if you get lucky, like Flowers comes back to the side, do it with Flowers, and then you funnel touchdowns through the other game in some weird script that doubles down on the fact that Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown aren't breaking the slate, so you double your leverage by Kenny Gainwell touchdown, for instance.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
I think some of the more interesting decision points on this slate, one, obviously, like we mentioned the running backs, but do you have a ranking that differs from how I have this currently, which is Barkley, Jacobs, Henry, and Pacheco in as like uh,
As your
my
default,
priorities?
which is very interesting because Pacheco on the site goes higher than Henry and Jacobs in terms of projected points. So
Right.
you're going to end up with like 0% Pacheco if you play it like this, which is entirely fine if you think that game turns to the air. You think it's a classic vintage Mahomes via the air game. If you think they play similar to the way in which they played in the postseason last year, you might be drawing dead with no Pacheco, right? So it's just
Yeah,
kind of like the concerted stand and effort you have to. This paints a nice trailing script of Mahomes, point chasing in the second half kind of thing, which would be pretty nutted and fun to watch.
for sure. Yeah, I actually have a surprise. I mean, I'm at 18% Pacheco.
Okay,
So
yeah. So
maybe
maybe
I'm
that
like maybe my decision points in the draft are different than the rankings, but like the what you see is like my exposures, like I have more Jacobs, then
uh-huh.
Saquon, then Henry, then Pacheco.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're prioritizing the running backs over the wide receivers, which you are right here, like maybe
Yes.
the decision point here is like 0% AJ Brown, basically.
Four shares out of let me update my exposures here actually. Um AJ Brown, six shares of AJ Brown
Yeah. So AJ
out of
Brown breaking
70
the
teams.
yeah, AJ Brown breaking the slate is curtains for you kind of thing.
Maybe
Yeah.
because when you draft AJ Brown, right?
Hmm.
Like most of the time he's like a top two pick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like it's what do those like nutted AJ Brown teams look like? If he falls to three, maybe.
Yeah.
If he like you almost need a room where somebody goes quarterback or Kelsey, like almost quarterback Kelsey 1-2. Um,
Right. That's what you need.
you need the right room for AJ Brown to break the slate and to help you. I'll try to find a good AJ Brown team that I have and like we
Okay,
can
here.
maybe see.
I got one for you that I tweeted out this morning, the GM that I thought was quite nice. Um Hertz, Henry. Okay, hold on. Let's see this. Hertz, Henry, AJ Brown, Xavier Worthy, Dontavian Wicks, Dallas Goddard.
Yeah,
So a
that's awesome.
Hurts double stack with Wicks as the bring back, and then Worthy and Henry as the touchdown scorers from Thursday night.
I like that a lot. That would definitely hurt me knowing that there's a team like that that
Ooh,
exists.
here's a good one. Hurts, AJ Brown, Josh Jacobs, Romeo Doubs, Luke Musgrave, Mark Andrews. So there's your bully tight end without Kelsey. So it's Musgrave and Andrews, and then AJ Brown skinny stack, and didn't lose out at running back.
That's nice. I found a
Yeah,
pretty sick AJ Brown team in my
let's hear it.
in my completed drafts. Lamar with Zay Flowers, AJ
Mm-hmm.
Brown, Jaden Reed, Jacobs, and Goddard.
Yeah, that's nasty. That's good. You're
Yeah.
threading a needle. You're threading a needle though. Like and this is where we talk about the primetime Paloozas being so different than the BRs because raw points just matter so much. So like some of the game theory associated with it, just like you have to just hat tip and be like, oh, I lost. Because that's threading a needle that like Lamar's the highest scoring quarterback on the slate. It runs through Zay Flowers, but you need the tight end and the WR1 associated with Hurts, but
Mm-hmm.
you need Hurts to underscore versus Lamar, right? It's like this classic
Right.
two
So I
game
get
fucking mind meld.
right. So I guess my question is to take it a step further, these AJ Brown teams, if AJ Brown smashes, and nice chug there, bro, that was sick. If AJ Brown, Jalen
Can
Hurts
you
is what
hear
you
it?
need,
That
what
would
are
be so
those?
bad.
No, what are those? What are those AJ Brown Hurts teams like? How? What's the best an AJ Brown Hurts team can look? Um,
It's the fall at running back, and you end up with two because someone does like a Mahomes double. So someone does a Mahomes, Kelsey,
yeah,
Worthy, or Rice, something like that. Someone else pushes quarterback early. Someone makes the crucial mistake of taking the fourth quarterback. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
When like a rookie drafter, evergreen reminder for those drafting that like you have to fill out all the positional designations. But yeah, it would look something like
Just for example,
Mahomes, Saquon, Kelsey.
yeah, I was gonna like, yeah, either at the 3 or the 4, and then this guy would go like, "Oh, sick! Like I just got uh Henry and Pacheco or whoever," and
Mm-hmm.
then this drafter probably goes. So then you would almost have to do Hurts here, but you
No,
could push it.
I think if you're building the ultimate GM, you push it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the separator.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just trust that that guy beside you goes like Andrews Lamar with his, because the guy beside you with the Saquon has to go Andrews Lamar, and then the Mahomes guy goes Rice Worthy.
Yeah, almost certainly, right? Because
Yeah, so
Kelsey's probably going at some point, before then too.
mhm. Yeah, I mean it's plausible. It's definitely doable. I think like a evergreen reminder for people with this contest is like all combos are on the table. This isn't one of those slates where like I see a cancelable combo. It's not like we have like CeeDee Lamb and Christian McCaffrey on the same slate or something like that, and you can end up with them on the same team over and over again. I think this is like a zero cancelable offenses kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this is fun, man. It's a super fun slate. There are going to be some sick teams. Like
Yeah.
just know that when you play this contest, there
Mm-hmm.
are a lot of sick teams that unless you are drafting a healthy amount of teams, like you may not have access to. So I'm just,
Yeah.
just putting that out there. These
Yeah.
slates can be tilting. These slates
Yeah.
can
For
be really
sure.
tilting where you may see a lineup sitting in first, at least in the beginning of the slate, and you're like, how did this happen? How did this
Mm-hmm.
team? I never had an access to this team. Well, you entered we've been doing prime time paloozas for 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to be the tilt police here, but I'm just giving people the fair warning.
Yeah, for sure. What is the like ugliest, grossest team we could possibly build that is intelligent that could find its way there? It's
What?
probably double running back start
Mm-hmm.
without Jacobs and Saquon. So it's probably like Henry and Pacheco are the scorers from the one game environment, and then it's Jordan Love 2-man, something like that.
I would probably agree, right? Where hopefully you get Reed. If you can get like Reed, Dubs, or Watson. That was another question I was about to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
How would you rank Green Bay pass catchers this week? Because it's week 1. Christian
Yeah.
Watson's healthy. Should we be putting Christian Watson ahead of Jaden Reed? It's a healthy Christian Watson. We know he's healthy.
Right.
Like, should we just be putting him ahead of Jaden Reed in projection? Maybe not in draft capital because he's the 3rd in projection, and you're going to
Mm-hmm.
be able to get some sick Christian Watson teams.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a healthy Christian Watson. I mean, and they're going to probably limit his routes. But man, oh man, does this dude like not have like one of the best ceilings?
Yeah, I think if I had to rank the snaps of Green Bay wide receivers for this game, I think Romeo Doubs plays the most, like for sure, and he's kind of like the X that doesn't come off the field like a whole lot. Jaden Reed is kind of like that mix in, like slot X or slot gadgety, like that sort of thing. And then I think like I view Watson and Romeo Doubs as kind of like the two that they interchanged last year. Am I remembering that correctly?
I think of them as different types of wide receivers.
Right, they're different players. I just mean like how they rotated their room last year. I think it was like that was the overlap was those two.
That would make sense because I think of those two both having like the least amount of routes run on this Packers team.
Mm-hmm.
And Dubs is like running like 90% of the routes.
Yeah, Tubbs is out there the most, I think. Like I think he's kind of what they just want to be the leave on the field X.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think I think the two, like if you had to rank the teams that'll play the most like two tight end personnel or like that sort of stuff, like the least amount of 3 wide receiver sets on this slate, it has to be like the Ravens first, and then where do you go in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, the Packers do kind of come to mind. I don't think of
Right?
them as a 12 personnel team, but like I also don't know the tight end 2 on the Eagles, and the
Mm-hmm.
the Chiefs lead the league in pass rate over expectation. So that's not going to be a ton of 12 in my opinion from them either.
Right.
And they have Jacobs, to run the rock. Like this is a different style running back than they've had in years past, where
Mm-hmm.
he can handle 20 plus carries in a regular season game, whereas last year they couldn't afford to do that with Aaron Jones.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, dude, okay. This is probably the biggest takeaway from our whole conversation here is Green Bay touchdown scoring wide receiver wins slate, right? Like
I,
that's
I would
just
I would
like
book it. I would book it. Yeah.
hmm, interesting. Yeah, that's a tough decision. I do like your thesis on the Christian Watson healthy, Christian Watson week 1, but I do think he'll play the least amount of snaps other than Wicks. I would imagine the snaps go Dubs, Reed, Watson, Wicks.
Dubs, Reed, Watson, Wicks. Yeah. I mean, I think that's how I have it. Or no, I have Reed, Dubs, Watson right now, but very much um into Christian Watson though, for sure.
Yeah.
I need more of him. I need more of him. I'm at 20%, 14 shares out of 70 teams. I would like more.
Yeah.
52% Josh Jacobs for me though.
Ooh, there you go.
Man, this is the slate.
Mhm. Yeah, no, it feels good. I mean, I Lloyd practiced yesterday. I mean,
Limited fashion, but did practice.
yeah, even if he's active, like I imagine we see a good amount of like Emmanuel Wilson mixed in. Um, I don't know, just given where the projection is for Emmanuel Wilson on this slate, like I think you just take Justice Hill instead, just to get like a little bit of leverage comparative to like nobody was talking about Emmanuel Wilson a week ago, and now all of a sudden like we're just mixing it in. Like,
Yeah,
well,
I'd rather take Hill.
yeah.
Should
All
we
right,
rip one of these?
let's rip one of these, and then let's talk a little main slate here. What's PPR Tyler talking about saying a prayer for Lawrence Butler. What happened to Lawrence Butler?
He probably he's in the fantasy playoffs. I think he needs a strong Lawrence Butler
I got you.
start. He plays baseball just like us. You need to call him
Yeah,
MLB Tyler instead of PPR Tyler. But
there we go.
yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Fuck, I was so I didn't check my dinger until this morning.
Mm,
But I knew my pitching staff. Dude, I had a good spot for Michael King this weekend. I had a good spot for Brian Wu versus the watered down Angels lineup yesterday. Um, I had Nola for the 2 start, and then Logan Gilbert got his 2 start pushed to Monday. So I missed out on the 2 start last week, but he gets a 2 start this week now. Anyways, like I was just like, man, I had a Carlos Rodon 26 point in my lineup, and it was just like, come on.
yeah. We can take a look just so because I mean there's community members just littered
Yeah.
throughout this leaderboard after this.
Hmm.
Willie Adames hit another home run. I mean, holy shit. This dude went nuts.
Oh,
And
really?
and we oh dude, he was the highest scoring hitter in
Oh,
week
I
1
didn't
of
see
the
that.
of the Dinger playoffs. Yeah, just absolutely ridiculous how
I thought it
good
was
he
like Manny
was.
Machado
Is
or
both. I mean, just if you look at
yeah.
Sam's lineup, he literally has the nuts. So,
Dude, it's
uh,
so annoying that Aaron Judge didn't even score this week.
how crazy is that?
Like I had the high scoring Aaron Judge team when I was in second there for a while, and Aaron Judge didn't even score. I used like Seiya Suzuki and somebody else. I can't remember. Matt Wallner with like 47 or something. So gross.
I mean, I just can't with this Willie Adames dude. This is absurd. All right, AJ Brown. I'm surprised Pacheco went 101, but this is what I would expect to see in most lobbies: is RB AJ Brown.
Okay,
Um,
let's do the big dog. Let's do the big dog, and let's do Jacobs and see what it looks like.
for sure. I think this
Let's
is
do
the
it.
I think this is the absolute play. You starve the shit out of the AJ Brown drafter, you punish him. Like if I was him, I would have gone running back here. I would not have left myself with the scraps of uh, Hill um, or Wilson, but going
Yeah,
Kelsey there because of that, like you lean into it. If you are boxed out
right.
at running back, like you don't like scramble and try to take a wide receiver there. Just lean into it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I think you can make a case there. I don't know. I see it both ways. Like I like that we're experimenting with this double RB start. It feels like a good room with some badges and stuff to be pushing quarterback and mixing around here. Um, so Rice goes, Devonta Smith goes, Mark Andrews goes, Zay Flowers. This is an interesting spot for us because like my mind instantly goes like Worthy Mahomes. Did Worthy just go or did Reed go?
Reed went.
I kind of
So,
like Worthy Mahomes,
okay.
but you could also do like Goddard Hurts. Feels really good too. You pick.
Yeah, I think let's do Worthy and try to do Worthy Mahomes because there's a chance that they just like they come out on goddamn fire and
Mm-hmm.
this is just what you have to have. And what we're also saying with this is like, hey, we're beating the Kelsey teams because Kelsey didn't score a touchdown.
Right.
We're beating the Green Bay Love teams. We're beating the Andrews teams because it's all through the big dog. Like we have these two ends of these game environments, I think, like locked up for scoring or for these teams. Um, and then we can build out a sound team from here, hopefully. It's
Yeah.
worth the shot. It's worth the shot
The
because this is a with these two. If you have two good drafters in with you, you have to kind of get a little different.
Yeah. See, this is interesting that okay, so he's just kind of like is that Jazar in the middle there? He's kind
Yes,
of just admitting like he's playing chicken with the left side where he's just giving him Lamar Andrews. Like this is how you build a good Lamar Andrews team.
and dude
Wow,
passed
and
up
then
on
he
it for
passes
Wicks.
it back. Very interesting. Okay, some of
I'm
these
seeing this a
rooms,
lot.
yeah, my rooms look so different than this, and I was seeing a lot of like three quarterback runs and seeing like stuff like that.
Yeah, you get those influencer rooms.
Yeah, I do. It's true. It's true. That's how you play
Yeah.
low volume around here.
So he's gonna. I mean, this is a really nice team, very similar to what like I was saying that I had before. Like this is a really sick team from JSR. Um,
Yeah,
so at tight end, like we're left with these scraps, and at wide receiver, like it's this, and then at running back, I feel like it's Justice Hill. So
we can't take running back anyways.
you're right.
I'd probably take. Yeah, likely feels like the easiest click, right?
Yeah, because it kind of goes with the game environment here, where they're
Mm-hmm.
shooting out. And then I think, I
It's
mean,
pretty
from
hard
here,
for me to
man.
read the names.
Well,
Who
it's
do we got?
Justin. I mean, you're better off just like not even reading them because it's Justin Watson and Nelson Aguilar or Bo
Take
Melton.
Juju, man. Is Juju in the pool?
No,
There's another one.
like it's just like you just have to go Justin Watson, and it's the grossest thing in the world. But
Yeah. Well, therein lies your bear case for starting RBRB and not having a balanced room with a room of decent drafters.
the RBRB start is not why this team is not good.
Why? Why is the team not good then? The fact that they passed on quarterback and we took Mahomes early?
100%.
Fair enough.
Yeah, passing like you pass on Mahomes here,
Okay.
and you go Watson or Dubs.
Yeah.
That's the move. So what I'm doing in most of my rooms is usually I'm passing on tight end, but sometimes I admit that one of these tight ends could be what you need, but I'm almost always passing on QB and just waiting to see what I get.
Hmm.
All four of these QBs are really strong.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I think you're right. I do think you're right there.
Yeah, I mean anything can happen, but I mean this is I love this slate because it's loaded. It might be the best primetime Palooza slate we'll have all season. I mean, there's a very good chance.
Yeah, I mean, like it's definitely the most talent laden one for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure. Quick dinger check-in, guys. I'm sitting at 116th. I didn't have any two-start pitchers last week, but I feel like I have a respectable score given the fact that I didn't have any two-start pitchers. But friends of the show, guys, you know them, you love them or you hate them. Sam Olson here, sitting top. Oh, that was sitting top of the leaderboard here. Had that Bryce Miller two-start week, that Zach Wheeler two-start week. Just absolutely nutted start for Sam. He has Machado. I mean, the 100 Dansby Swanson week. I mean, unbelievable. I didn't even need his Jose Ramirez score. Brent Rooker, Jaron Duran, Hap, and Otani. Unbelievable start for Sam. But it's a brand new week. We're starting brand new score calculations here. And then our guy Svi, man. Shout out Svi. I mean, right there with Sam. He's got Aaron Nola with the two-start week, sick two-start week from Nola when he's been really kind of up and down this season. Really needed that. Framber Valdez is like a sleeping giant for him. I think he'll get a nice score out of him. He's been pitching extremely well lately. He's got Logan Gilbert lined up for the two-start week. Really nice pitching staff, and he used Willie Adames, who's now sitting at 124
Wow.
in the entire tournament. Just unbelievable. With Jackson Churio, Seiya Suzuki, Otani outfield, our guy Svi lighting it up right now. So shout out to these two. John, you said you're in 60th right now.
Yeah, I think I think I had 680 points or 670 points, something like that.
Let's find you. There's another Sam Olson team because of course there is. There he is, 66th. I mean, it's a good team though, man. I mean, you had the 100 ball from Dansby, but it's just unbelievable. Like of course, man. The right-handed Barry Bonds didn't
Yeah.
score for you in the first
Yeah.
week.
Yeah. Right-handed Barry Bonds didn't score, and the likes of Matt Wallner did.
I mean,
So
Matt
just
Wallner is goated, so that's
true.
actually surprising to no one.
Can I see the squad again for a second? Can you just go up? I think I got like Nola was two-start last week, so yeah, I just needed a Wu King Gallon was another one. I just needed a start that was better than Carlos Rodon against the Nationals for 26 points. Like,
Yeah.
just pathetic. But
Mm-hmm.
oh well. And they were all in fucking good spots too.
And I mean, it's crazy how competitive these playoffs are. It makes total sense, but like,
Mm-hmm.
man, to sweat these out in real time is definitely a bitch. Let's look at my humble squad here. Can't complain about the 55 ball from Eflin on Sunday. Whenever I wasn't even sure if he was going to pitch.
Yeah.
Uh, I thought I thought I was going to get some 2-start weeks this week. I don't think I'm in line for anybody. I'll have to recheck, but Giloff cracking my lineup is hilarious. Like good scores here from my infield with Naylor, Cruz, and Jose, but like nothing, obviously like nothing that you absolutely have to have. But
That
I
team
mean,
went that team went nuke in Great American Small Park, Oakland.
yeah,
Like
they had themselves a ball.
yeah, even Zach Geloff scoring, like that's crazy. Wow.
I know. So being 220 points behind Sam Olson is not ideal. But if I can crack myself into into the 1K 1.5K range, I'll call it a success. So I mean these are super fun. We'll keep you guys updated throughout the week because we've got some community members here sweating some big time prizes. So
Mm-hmm.
we will definitely keep you guys in the loop there.
Yeah, I'm afraid it's probably curtains for me because even if Aaron Jones goes nuts this week, I'm probably boxed out. But maybe a 2-start week from Aaron Judge. He's playing like Aaron Gordon.
He is.
Aaron Judge, and then the 2-start Logan Gilbert, and then Dansby Swanson going nuke for one more week would be kind of like the leverage that I need to like get up there, but I think that's highly, highly unlikely, especially when Sam Wilson has like 3 of my guys covered too. So yeah, best of luck to the community, man. I think it's curtains for me. So GG's and good luck to these guys battling out at the top.
Yeah, no doubt. Just trying to do the best we can, John. That's all we can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we tried our best. I should have encouraged my guys a little harder. I should have called a team meeting after Tuesday when we were in second or first there. Got the guys all together, build up
Yeah.
the morale in the room, give an inspirational speech, some Friday Night Light shit.
Yeah. John, should we pivot back to football?
Yes, sir.
Where would you like to take this?
Yeah, let's pivot back to football. My stuff is dying on me here, and I gotta get out there with the peoples. Let's do BR. Let's just take a look at position by position and then rip one BR together.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna. Hey guys, do us a favor, hit that like, that sub, that notification will be. I mean, we're even coming to you guys on a holiday here while we're traveling and stuff like that. We're dedicated to this craft. We love the start of football season here, but we will have off and on the clock on Wednesday. That's the only like guaranteed scheduled one right now. And then Nez is going to be doing some solo stuff intermittent there. I got a travel day tomorrow, and then Wednesday when our normal flight time when our normal time is, I'll be flying and stuff like that. So yeah, I think I'm going to try and cut together something from Vegas with some of the people that will be hanging out there for the ship chasing party. Hope to see some of you guys there. But yeah, I think Nez is going to be at the helm here for the remainder of week 1. So I got to get some takes going here for this BR slate.
You got to cram in some takes. And John, I do. I didn't tell you I was going to do this, but speaking of Labor Day, Bria and I announced on Instagram that we are expecting a little baby next year. So just wanted to announce that to the people that we've got big things coming over here in the Nez household.
Baby Nez, love it, dude. Congratulations, that's amazing.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. We'll hopefully know the gender at some point this month. We'll see, but yeah, big exciting things coming. That's why I had to cram in so many best ball drafts, man. I don't know when I can have a best ball summer as hot and sweaty as I did this year. So had to give it my all and leave it all on the floor.
Love it, man. What's it feel like to be the first guy in Underdog baseball history to have the sex?
I'm honored. I'm honored, and I don't take the privilege lightly.
Yeah,
And
oh, that's
yes,
great, dude.
just to answer the question, I know you were wondering, a lot of people were wondering, will
Mhm.
I name the child Viper? Yes. Yes, I will. Yes, I will.
Yes, from the jump.
Absolutely. Uncle Viper, after Uncle Viper. But yeah, I wanted to squeeze that in there because we
Love it, dude.
announced today. So
Congratulations
I
to you.
figured I'd tell my family, my extended family here. Yeah, thanks. So, let's transition to a more important topic here. Quarterbacks on the week 1 BR slate. John, do you want to talk about this from a main BR angle or from a 12-man angle?
I think we can do a hybrid of both, but let's think about the six mans first, and then expand off of that.
Okay.
So we'll do quarterbacks for six man, and then we'll talk quarterbacks for 12, and then we'll move to the next position.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Yeah, man, I think I might have been a little out of my skis with the Kyler stuff. I thought the Kyler stuff would be. I mean, we're still so early in the draft window. I thought it would be popping a little harder for the GMs. I mean, most of the projections and stuff like that aren't even out yet.
Right.
I think that game. I mean, I guess there's three circle your calendar games this week. There's Texans and Colts is going to be a circle your calendar. It's going to be the Trevor Lawrence versus Tua Bowl. That's going to be a circle your calendar, and then it's going to be Josh Allen versus Kyler as the other one. There, those are the games that jump off the page to me. I imagine the team totals and implied totals will follow suit. Um, I thought the Kyler stuff was going to push up as week 1 went on. Maybe we're not fully there yet, but I've been really hunting the McGronk plus Kyler. Yeah, and then I've been doing some interesting little Kyler whatever. So
Yeah.
as of right now, it's Arizona for me. It doesn't feel amazing, but that's kind of what I've liked, cost adjusted, the best. And then my scroll the F down has been Jaden Daniels. I mean, just even if it's Cliff Kingsbury horizontal raid, give me a dude who can run chasing points while he's healthy before we know what the true ceiling is.
Yeah, no, I think Jaden Daniels makes a lot of sense in the main BR because I really am not so certain how important stacking is in the main battle
Mm,
royale.
fair
And
point.
Jaden Daniels gives you the opportunity to really experiment with how important is stacking in this tournament. And like you said, we don't know the true ceiling of him yet, but he is very easily stackable if you do want to stack Jaden Daniels. We have
Mhm.
Terry McLaurin, who there's just nobody else to see targets other than one cheeky Zach Ertz. But definitely a fun game just in general. This Washington Bucks game I think is a lot of fun.
Mhm.
So I totally agree with you that Jaden Daniels is a very fun scroll down. QB 8 on the slate, so more often than not getting drafted.
Yeah. The other one that you could do in that same vein would be Caleb, and like get ahead of Caleb before other guys. I mean, we got the Keenan Allen Q tag right now. Maybe Rome is a little too thin because like we love all these guys in like best ball, but rookie production is back weighted, right? So if we're getting after it in the first week of the season here, maybe a little bit of that DJ Moore Caleb stack in the later rounds there feels good as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've done Keenan in the 12 mans. I mean, he's
Yeah, it
sometimes
checks
a
out.
6 round pick in the 12 mans. I mean, I don't know, dude. I mean, I know he's got the foot thing going on, but it's Keenan Allen week 1. And like you
Right.
said, for most of these rookies, I think there's some rookies you can make the case they're going to get decent run right off the hop. I think AD Mitchell is one of them. But yeah, I really like doing Caleb and Keenan in the 12 mans. But this is an awesome slate just in general. Really fun options at QB.
Mhm.
On a scale of 10 being sharp, 1 being donations, where do you rank Josh Allen's ADP at 3.8? Let's say in the context of the main BR.
8. Like,
Oh,
I think it's good. I
really?
mean, yeah, you have the highest implied team total. You have an offense that runs primarily through him. They were really run heavy at the tail end of last year. If he scores 2 on the ground comparative to, like, anybody else on this slate, I think the slate's over. I think it's like Josh Allen or bust when he scores 2 on the ground. So, I don't know. like naked Josh Allen, those Josh Allen, Dalton Kincaid GMs. I think it's easier to find back end scoring this week at the flex position with like some of the scroll running backs and stuff like that than it'll be to find a break the slate quarterback. This is specifically to the 6-man, not the 12.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. What about 12 mans? I feel like it kind of it
I think
might be better in the 12 mans.
interesting. Okay, I'm on the other side of the coin there because I think you can find ways to mask the scoring when you don't have to score as many raw points.
Right.
So like the Josh Allen teams, because they're taking Josh Allen in the first round, could be taking like 6th round zeros comparative in like in the 12th, whereas like the Josh Allen teams that are taking 6th round players in the BRs is like they're still taking like super nutted dudes.
Yeah, I mean, I want to throw one of these dog bowl teams because man, I just think the 6th round of the dog bowl or goal line stand 12 mans is just
Yep.
like it's not bad at all.
Yep.
This is a very very deep slate that I just think is lends itself to a lot of different plays. Maybe this 6th round isn't a good representation of that, and I just lost my second monitor, so this is not ideal. But I mean, I don't. Yeah. Looking at this 6th round, it definitely does seem a little bit more barren. Now that I look at it,
I kind of like that. I like that AD Mitchell pick there by Chris G. I did it once in the 6-man as well, where it's like they want him to play the slot, and if they do transition this slot, no Josh Downs for week 1. And if they throw like they did in the preseason there, like that crossing route lives rent free in my head on the touchdown that
I know,
Anthony
right?
Richardson threw to him. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I do like that. I've also floated to him, maybe a little Alec Pierce if you have an Anthony Richardson team, just because in week 1, if Downs doesn't play, you definitely have some fun angles to play there where he gets a deep ball. But like in this, did Keenan Allen went 5th here to be Spurf, but like I've seen Keenan Allen fall all the way to the 6th round in these 12 mans. This is maybe like a little bit more of a sharper room, but you can do a lot of really fun stuff, man. In these, it's hard for me not to just completely blast off on these dog bowl drafts. So I'm trying to fill goal line stands to scratch the itch at a less for $15 less. But I've always loved the 12 mans, man. I think they're the most fun.
Which position is your favorite to punt in 12 mans this week?
I think RB2 is my flex, or just the flex in general. To say that a little cleaner.
Let's go back to the position by position there, because I do think you can tell yourself a story easier about the back end running backs this week, more so than like any other position. Like in the 12s, it's really easy to just like tack on a stack. Sam Darnold onto the Justin Jefferson stuff. It's going to be like what 12 to 25% owned at most in the contest, and then it's going to be tethered to Justin Jefferson 80% of the time or something like that. So it's like pretty easy to tell yourself stories with like the obvious pocket passing quarterbacks at the back end. So like Darnold and Cousins and like that sort of thing, because their weapons go ahead. The other stories to tell are like the scroll the F down RBs, because there's like a lot of dudes at this back end that are going to like, they probably don't have like the ceiling of Achan or Jonathan Taylor or something like that, but they might have opportunity shares that are like 15 to 18 touches, and we're just like not drafting them. Like we'll be clamoring for that in week 6, right? So I don't know, Pollard, Chuba, Moss, Zeke Elliott as leverage off of the Dallas stuff that gets stacked every single draft. Like if you just want fat Zeke to fall in the end zone twice, like why not?
Yeah.
Maybe they're more of like 12-man lobby plays than they are 6-mans. That's kind of what I'm seeing. Is I want to win the flex with a second RB, and I want to win it with one that is kind of just dusty back end volume.
For sure. I think it's also like important to keep in mind that with week 1, week one is just so random, right? There a lot of different things can happen that we're not foreseeing. And in the
Mhm.
same vein of, hey, like projectable running back volume, Ramondre Stevenson against the Bengals, if they don't go like fire off like, on all cylinders like we're expecting, maybe Patriots defense a little bit tougher than we expected as an opponent, get some turnovers, put them in favorable position where, hey, they're up early, and they're up early because Ramondre Stevenson scored a touchdown off a turnover or something. And he's
Mhm.
getting, and it's all said and done. He has 26 touches and he ends the day with 20 points. Potentially, some fun leverage there. I know we this is the second show in a row, John, where we've mentioned a Patriot, but I mean, I
Yeah, I
think he
mean,
does have the projectable volume there down here that you mentioned that is really sharp. That like all these guys back here are like so under like so low owned
mhm.
in our BR, and projection wise. I mean, like all you're hoping really is like that one of these guys score a touchdown back here, and it's very much a likely scenario, I think.
Yeah, I think I would pass on Ramondre and I would take like Devin Singletary or something instead this week.
Okay.
I just think they're not going to play fast enough with Jacoby at underneath center than like Drake May, and their offensive line, according to some of the ETR metrics and stuff, is like the worst in football. But I've been renowned Patriots hater all off season, so take it with a grain of salt. Um, I do think like it's understated the impact in which Antonio Gibson will have in his receiving role in those trailing game sets and 2 minute drills too. So that like all the fun stuff where like Ramondre would stay on the field late in ball games, I would just kind of like pass on. So it's like when they would be passing like might not be there this year. So yeah, I'm passing on Ramondre this week, but I get the thesis. I'd rather play Chuba Hubbard this week than Ramondre.
Totally fair. Yeah, totally fair.
Yeah.
Ramondre is an extreme example,
Mm-hmm.
but Chuba is a very strong example, I think. In that game, this is a low total, but 4 point spread. Nothing too crazy, as far as like game. I think that this game has pretty wide error bars, as far as
Okay.
like how
Yeah.
things can swing, right? Where,
What's
yeah,
Oh, no. Finish your thought. Sorry, I was gonna ask you another question.
yeah, so like I think in this game too, that like with my Ramondre thesis, like what if the defense gets to the offense? I think
Right.
you can see that with Carolina. If this Saints offensive line is as bad as everybody is saying, it could be a nightmare for them, even against the Panthers defense. Who like I don't think the Panthers defense is a good defense. I have been taking Kamara, I have been taking Olave. I think that
Mm-hmm.
it's a concentrated offense for the Saints, but Chuba Hubbard is the starting running back there. And we joked that Miles Sanders will get the first touch of the season, and maybe he will, and we can
He
have a good
might
laugh. And we can have a good laugh about
a
that.
ceremonial send off.
But until we see it, we have a good reason to think that Chuba Hubbard has one of the better snap shares in on this slate.
Right.
And a Carolina team that we both think and many people think will be improved with Dave Canales. There's a good chance that Chuba Hubbard has himself a hell of a game against
Mm.
these Saints, where the Saints could be terrible, and we could see them get punched in the mouth. I know they're at home, but wide error bars on this where we don't know how bad the Saints might be and we don't know how good the Panthers might be. We
Hmm.
could have this way wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like Gretsch did an article yesterday, came in my inbox this morning. I was just looking at the newsletter, and he's like, he cited the example of last year with like Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. Like we thought Najee would just be this bell cow because he's been a bell cow in the past and this sort of thing. Now, whatever, it was Canada last year, new coaching staff, whatever. I don't want to belabor the point of that isolated example, but just using it as like a macro, like hey man, they came out and they had a 50% snap share. That could happen with so many guys we're not anticipating this weekend. Like we could see that from Tennessee's backfield, we could see that from the Bengals backfield, we could see that from um, New England's backfield, we could see it from Carolina's backfield, as you alluded to, like any of these, right? So it's just like, yeah, when we're looking for outlying air bars in the variance. I think that was a pretty good way of thinking through it. I was going to pivot the question to two things for you. Error bars in terms of game environment. Is there like a sneaky shootout that stands out to you?
So I don't know about sneaky shootout, but
Yeah.
let's just talk about the Texans and Colts for a minute,
Yeah.
where it's a 48 and a half total. It is one of the higher ones here, but I think if these two, I mean, they are going to meet again. I don't know exactly when, but when they do meet again, would anybody be surprised if this is like, oh, 53.5 with
Right.
Texans and Colts?
Yeah.
Because what do you, because I think the Texans are going to do their part on making this game a shootout. No questions about their offense. I think
Hmm.
the questions like who needs to hold up their end of the bargain is the Colts. And I think people see the Colts and
Yeah.
perceive them as being a run heavy team, and maybe they will be a run heavy team. But if their pace is what it could be, which is like fastest pace in NFL type stuff,
Hmm.
um, how does this game not break 50 with just the most ease?
Yeah.
So this game to me is just a huge target. Every Texan is like in my player pool at a pretty high rank right now. And then Anthony Richardson, just like with or without a pass catcher, for me is a really strong target for me as well. Because like I said, I think the Texans are going to do their end of the bargain. The error bars, in my opinion, are where this game goes nuts and it's just absolute fireworks
Yeah.
because Texans are crushing the Colts, who I don't think are a very good defense. Hayden was breaking down defenses on the Josh and Hayden channel, and he had the Colts as like a bottom tier defense, like one of the worst. And man, how are the Texans not going to eat them alive?
Yeah.
So
It's
if the
one.
Colts can hold up their end of the bargain, this is going to be a really fun game.
It's one of the secondaries that's definitely worth attacking early in the year for sure. Right. They meet again in week 8, according to my fancy chart here. Um, and yeah, so week 8 in Houston. Higher, lower, 53.5 total for that game.
I'm going to say I like the 53.5 number.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
would say 53.5.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that could definitely play. Yeah, I like the shout about pace. I would ask you, what do you think the biggest point of leverage in that is? Because Shrout goes every draft, Anthony Richardson goes almost every draft. Jonathan Taylor is obviously a 1-2 turn pick, and then basically 2 out of the 3 Houston pass catchers go every single time. So I guess the obvious stuff is like Pittman, AD Mitchell as like skinny stack leverage, and Mixon and Schultz as leverage off of the pass catchers going every single time. Like, which of those kind of stands out to you as one you want to get to?
Yeah, I can't like really advocate for double stacking in the main BR. The opportunities do present themselves every now and then, and I think
Hmm.
Tank and Diggs this week is like a decent opportunity to do that, where like Tank and Diggs don't even go every draft, and Nico is so highly drafted that
Yeah.
I think you could get away with the Stroud Dell Diggs combo. I mean, really though, one of the stronger points of leverage I think is Joe Mixon on this slate, where yeah, like they're moving the ball extremely efficiently, but they're not getting in the end zone with the air. And now it's Joe
Hmm.
Mixon time at the goal line, and he's got 2 touchdowns, and also maybe he's caught like 5 balls for 30, on top of the 60 rushing yards. So I think Mixon is pretty strong leverage. Where everything that we said about this game, I think holds true. But like, what if it's just through Joe Mixon, and
Hmm.
and Stroud only throws a touchdown each to his receivers,
Yeah. The
or 2 touchdowns or something.
the funny thing about Mixon, if you want to play like Duns Cap, like anecdotal narrative, is very similar to what we were saying about Stephon Diggs, where it's like, do you want to just showcase your guy who
Right.
you just gave up? Like, they didn't have to sign him for a 3-year extension. Like, they clearly like him. They like him for that run fit. I was watching one of the Coach Speak Index ones on him the other day, and it was just like, yeah, he's just a great football player, blah blah blah, and he's not getting drafted like 100% of the time. So yeah, I think we're gonna like, especially when we look at some of this like I almost said BVP, but we look at this like position versus defense stuff in the
It's
future here.
DVP from here on out, and
Yeah,
and,
it's
and if you know, you
DVP.
know.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're looking at some of this DVP stuff, I think we're gonna like the air matchup more than the ground matchup, as you kind of already alluded to there. But this is an improved offensive line for the Texans, so I mean, I do kind of like it just from a leverage standpoint. I think the other clear leverage is that if you just put Schultz in there instead of one of the other pass catchers, and you do like Shrout in the 3rd round, Schultz in the 6th round. It's there every single time if you want it, and nobody just takes like naked Schultz. Why can't he just score 2 touchdowns in week 1 and be the leverage off of every other Texan that goes so frequently?
Yep. Yeah, 100%. So I do think doing that with maybe like a running it back with the Colts or something could make sense. But I do try to not like force correlation too much in these main BRs because the
Fair
field is
enough.
so large and you really do need to like hit some mega nuts. But what we're talking about with the game stack, I think plays really well in the goal line stand. It plays really well in the smaller field 6-man stuff, and I think they're really strong plays in the smaller stuff.
Yep, I like it, dude. Yeah. That I'm looking at some other like potential shootout stuff here. Like, I mean, the Tampa Bay Washington game feels good on paper, but it might rain.
Yeah,
I was
that's what
seeing that.
someone was just saying in the chat.
Yeah.
70% chance of rain per paid. Uh, there, it's a
There's
44 point total. Um, yeah, if that's going to be that much of a factor, uh, not great. But we've often said on here it's wind, not rain, that we really care the
right.
most about.
Yep.
So if come Sunday, hey, guess what? It is going to rain in Tampa, and now Mike Evans is like falling to the sixth. Well, I'm gonna take that. I will take 6 round Mike Evans if the FUD is there. So that might be
And
a wait and see type of play.
yeah, and Tampa rain is like flash dump of rain and then it's gone the rest of the day kind of thing. Or it's like Atlanta rain where it's like that kind of like that hot misty where the ball travels. Not that that matters here. I don't know. Tennessee at Chicago, we might look back and kick ourselves that like, oh, both these teams are going to play faster. Both these teams are going to play better. Like, why were we taking Cincinnati and New England over and over again when we could have been taking like Caleb and DJ Moore or something like that, you know?
Yep, yeah, totally agree. I really like Caleb in the main BR,
Hmm.
paired with like single stack of DJ Moore or single stack of Keenan Allen. I think that makes a ton of sense. I am worried that the Bears defense is going to be good, and
Good
and how
point.
does that affect the Titans' ability to be able to keep up with the Bears? But uh, you don't necessarily have to run it back. But if the
Hmm.
Titans can hold up their end of the deal and you do have Bears pieces, then obviously you're sitting really, really pretty.
Yeah. What if Devonta Adams just comes out here and gets like 10 targets week one and the Chargers are playing catch up ball against Vegas?
I
They
mean, I
force
love
Herbert
Devontae
to
Adams
throw.
this week. Devontae Adams being a 30 ADP, I think is just absurd.
Yeah, that's generational wealth opportunity.
Yeah, that is just very strange. Um, I love it though, man. This to me is like one of the biggest smashes on in this entire week, and I mean,
Mm,
especially in the 12-person drafts, being able to get a late Devonte Adams is huge. I mean, we've seen Minshew make Mike, and I think Michael Pittman is better than most people do. However,
hmm.
Minshew made Michael Pittman like a stud. What's he
Yeah.
going to do with Devonte Adams?
Yeah. Good point.
How's Devonte Adams not getting double digit targets? How is he not seeing so so much of the target share in Las Vegas? I really don't know how that doesn't come to fruition.
Yeah. I agree with you there. I think it's a pretty good ADP to chase right now. The other one I was going to look at, I'm looking at like matchups right now and stuff like that. Like, what if Dallas and Cleveland just play fast and air it out versus each other? Like they
That's a
both
super
got,
fun game.
yeah, they both have good pass rush. Like they both have like good edge rush. But they both played fast as hell last year, and Dallas led the league in pass attempts last year. Like Cleveland, we know they want to play up tempo. They showed us at the tail end of last year. Deshaun Watson was one of the second fastest teams, second fastest offense last year. So if we want to chase fantasy points, what if those two just shoot it out and go back and forth?
What's interesting is this game has a total of 41 and a half.
Yeah, that's shocking, man. They're giving the defenses so much credit in that game.
So much credit, right?
Yeah.
And they've got the Browns favored, which like I don't disagree with.
Uh huh.
41 and a half, man.
Yeah, that's scary. That could just be okay. What game do you think we could look back next week and be like, we were just so fucking wrong on? Like that one might feel like one of them.
Yeah, I don't think that we're wrong as a field on here, but
Uh
like
huh.
the Giants and Vikings, I am really excited for.
Mm, okay. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, very much excited for that. Sam Darnold, obviously, first game as a Viking, starting for I don't think he started last year for them. Um,
No, he didn't. No, he was. Oh, I just got the timers running out. 10 minutes left. I got
Yeah.
10 BBM still left on slow clock.
Oh, buddy, make those picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smog
So
AP Ryan no matter what.
that's exactly what it is. Very excited for this Vikings offense against the Giants, who I don't think the Giants have a very great defense. Vikings, I'm gonna need to see their defense before I kind of take them too seriously as far as the secondary goes. I
Mm-hmm.
am a Danny Dimes apologist, very much, going to give him patience on my end, given that he has Malik Neighbors as his wide receiver. And I mean, you want to talk about, leaders and team target share. How is Malik Neighbors not like a top 3 favorite to lead their team in targets against the Vikings in the Meadowlands? Really, really excited for Neighbors and Jefferson in this game alike. This is one where I think, or at least I hope that this game goes over its total of 41.5. And I think it will. I mean, I really do. Like I said, I'm a Danny Dimes guy. So I don't think that this is going to be this boring of a game.
Yeah, that's fair. I think there's some good leverage in there if you want to go like the Addison route instead of Justin Jefferson, or if you want to go the Singletary route. But Aaron Jones is free, man. To get back to the running backs there, like Aaron Jones is free. Um, I don't know. Stranger things
Love
have
Aaron
happened
Jones.
than Aaron Jones scoring like one through the air and one on the ground and being a guy you need from that game environment.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I was gonna try to look up, see if Addison is practicing, but I don't see anything on the platform yet as far as a
Yeah,
news blurb for him.
we'll have official practice reports tomorrow, I guess.
Okay.
Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, I think Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think we'll have our first official ones.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's go back to the position there. I think we kind of hit everyone on running back there. I'd ask you who your least favorite running back ADP is right now. Mine's James Cook. I just kind of have never been a James Cook guy, and I think that team wants to funnel through Josh Allen like they did at the tail end of last year. They did establish the hell out of it with him last year there, and that Arizona matchup is a pretty good one. But yeah, I'm kind of out on that price tag right now. I'm definitely scrolling at running back this week because if Ken Walker beats me, if Rachaad White or James Cook beat me at ownership, like hat tip and move on. I'd rather scroll for running back this week.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, man, I do like James Cook. My like one of my things that I did last year, and I think I'll hold true to it until like Ray Davis establishes himself if he can. Is like James Cook in very positive game script, and this is they've got a 30-point implied total, 6-point favorites at home against Arizona. I
Good
always
point.
played
Yeah.
James Cook in those heavy favored matchups, and it
Good point.
usually fared me well. But like you said, this is this is a little bit of a different team. So we'll see how that plays out. But otherwise, like, yeah, I usually am not like really big on James Cook. I did not take a lot of him in best ball. I think my least favorite is, man, and this feels bad to say, but I think Achan against the Jaguars.
Yeah.
That one has me a little spooked. I would like to see how they use Achan before I play him a lot in BRs.
Yeah, I mean, there's no questioning the ceiling with him. We saw it multiple times last year. We saw that 50 burger that, you had to have him and broke the slate and whatever. We saw the running back plus wide receiver pairing from Miami crush last year. But
Yeah.
I'm in lockstep with you there, Nez. I've taken way more Mostert than I've taken Achan this week. Very cryptic with the Coach Speak Index stuff. Mike McDaniel had 2 ones that Coach Speak Index retweeted this morning there. And he was just basically talking about like kind of more or less mansplained committee and mansplained going with the hot hand is basically what he did. So I've been taking the Mostert leverage. That's kind of been my play thus far. Yeah, give me healthy Mostert early in the year. The guy who led all running backs in touchdown scored last year. Why can't he pound in 2 or 3 and be the guy you need in week 1, especially with a banged up Jalen Waddle? And not banged up Tyreek. That Q tag's fake. He said he was going to play 100%, and it was a thumb. So, but yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways,
and
let's
we
move
got
on.
Waddle back at practice with no setbacks either. So that's
Good.
pretty
Okay.
that's pretty good news
Yeah.
there. Yeah, that'll be a fun game, but I think for now, like I'm gonna not take the guy that's, I think what would you set his high or lower here for touches in this game? Like 12.5?
I think I would say 9.5. Like, I think I'd be on the
Wow.
lower side of that.
Wow.
But
I
yeah,
mean,
12.5
that's
sounds
crazy.
kind of high to me, I guess. I don't know, man. He was
And I'm
just
not
like the
talking
most efficient
attempts. I'm
dude.
talking like, like catches and rush attempts.
Oh, catches and okay, so total touches. Yeah,
Yeah.
12.5 is probably pretty good.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, there's definitely going to be, I think there's going to be 15 running backs who go behind Achan who project for more touches. Now, can he be the most efficient running back in the history of ever? Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's
uh-huh.
just who he is. So we'll see. But yeah, I think he's kind of like soft fade for me too. But it's a scary one for sure.
Oh, it's
Let's do
incredibly
the
scary.
let's do the wide receivers here, Nez. You alluded to Waddle there being back at practice. Waddle, in the same vein as Mostert, is kind of like decent leverage off the top, but I think his ADP is a little high for me. I would rather have DJ Moore this week. I would rather have Devontae Adams this week in a vacuum. And then I was thinking through a little bit of leverage with T. Higgins after,
Right.
Jamar Chase still hasn't signed his deal and that sort of thing. That's a game that I'm not overly excited about the game as like a whole, but I'm kind of excited about the touchdown scoring potential of the Bengals, like, scoring like 3 or 4 touchdowns in that game against a team that I think is going to be bad.
So if they do that,
Mm-hmm.
we already passed running back, but like, I mean, dude, I think Zach Moss is one of the better picks today
Yeah.
or this week. I mean, Jamar Chase still is not practicing.
Yeah.
He's in street clothes. They play 6 days from now.
Yeah. It's getting scary, man.
It is getting scary. I mean, say what you will, maybe he does play. And even if he does play, like, do you want, like, if Jamar Chase comes off of no practice, no training camp, and puts up 30, you know what? Like, salute, man. You are just
Right.
unbelievable. But I don't know that I'm gonna have. I did one Jamar Chase draft this week so far in the main BR. I will not take Jamar Chase in my dog bowls. No chance. No
Interesting.
chance.
Yeah, I mean, we're basically taking him right now exactly where we'd take him if it was like week 3 and he had like 2 decent games.
100%.
Right? And we're not factoring in the fact that he hasn't practiced at all. We don't know if he's up to game shape, up to speed. We don't know what's going to happen with the coaching staff there too. Like, are they going to hold it against him in any regard that the dude hasn't practiced all off season? Like, you want to get
You
back
think
to
they'll
like,
sacrifice their chances of winning to stick it to Jamar Chase?
probably not. But like, I could see him instead of running like, 98% of snaps and then moving him all over the field and moving him into the slot and stuff. I could see them like, okay, here's a random 2 wide receiver set with like they pull him off the field kind of thing, and he
And
only plays like
Yoshi Boss.
and he only plays like 80% of snaps. In that whole vein, like, yeah, T. Higgins just feels like a better and better click now.
Yeah. At cost, T. Higgins all the way. I
Yeah.
think. I mean, it'll be interesting. I don't think he's gonna sit out this game. I
Mhm.
think if he decides to do what he's doing in practice and then he says, "Hey guys, I'm gonna play," they're gonna let him play.
Yeah.
But something to monitor, no
Yeah.
doubt. Now, I can't lie, John. Tomorrow, if we get news Jamar Chase is a full participant, would you forgive me if I change my tune a little bit? And I'm like, okay,
Oh, not at all. No.
okay,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, for
something to
sure.
monitor.
The shit ain't binary, dude. That's why we got to be so fluid with the news that we get, right?
Exactly.
Who else do you like in as scroll potential here, or some of the bad ones? I talked about a little bit of the leverage you can introduce by scrolling to the kind of like worst in quotations of the Texan
Right.
ADPs. So that's Stephon Diggs right now. You could do some of that. Obviously, we talked about the Colts on the other side of that ball game as well. There, isn't it
I think
interesting?
good.
I was just about to say it's interesting that like the Jags are projected to be in a trailing script in the highest total game on the slate, and like nobody takes Christian Kirk. Like they all think it's going to go through like ETN and Evan Ingram, who go in 100% of drafts. Like
Hmm.
Christian Kirk feels like pretty sick leverage there. I mean, can Brian Thomas come out the gate and just play the X and be a monster like we saw in the preseason? Potentially, but like, you know, cul-de-sac narrative with Christian Kirk.
Yeah, definitely. I think Trevor Lawrence skinnies in the main BR are huge leverage. Trevor Lawrence, I don't think is a top 6 quarterback. So doing that with one of those wide receivers makes a ton of sense in my opinion. I was going
Mm-hmm.
to highlight just below the wide receivers 2 and 3 for the Texans are the wide receiver ones for their respective teams in McLaurin, Pittman, Amari Cooper, George Pickens. And then
Yeah.
even Calvin Ridley, but Calvin Ridley does have DeAndre Hopkins behind him. But Pickens, Cooper, and Pittman are and McLaurin, just like these are alphas on their team. And I think one trend that kind of shown itself to be a strong strategy in these BRs is like targeting players that are alphas on their own team that have the ability to put up stupid scores. And these four represent that in a major way. Not only are they alphas on their own teams, but
Mm-hmm.
they are going undrafted most of the time.
Okay.
Pittman maybe less undrafted. McLaurin, I would say, probably goes undrafted a good amount because the quarterback also goes undrafted a good amount. But
Yep.
like very little Amari Cooper this season or this week as people are scared. Very little George Pickens, and I mean, who can blame anybody for that? But man, I think these four represent some of the best picks on the board at wide receiver this week.
Yeah, the Pickens one obviously scares me a little bit. I just like see Arthur Smith going back with this Atlanta game and being like, "Hey, look what you guys got rid of, and I'm just going to establish the fuck out of it and run it down your throats," kind of deal. Like I see some old school like hard nosed clock chewing ball game there. I just don't like the game environment that much. But
That's fair.
if you want a dude who can break the slate on like 5 catches, George Pickens did it last year on a primetime Palooza where he went like four catches and took an 80-yard one to the house there. So yeah, I do like the leverage narrative there. I do like the Amari stuff more than it's getting credit right now. Terry scares me a little bit. I do like Jaden Daniels, but I kind of like Jaden Daniels unstacked. Terry trying to break a slate would be like what, like 10, 90, and 2. Like, I don't know. I'd rather
I
just
think
play
I think
that
I think the
through
floor for Terry
Daniels.
McLaurin is like 10 targets. Like the floor.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the floor.
There's just
Floor. I mean, 10 targets, a lot of targets. I mean, but
I
yeah,
know that exactly. That's my point.
yeah, yeah.
There's just nobody else there to see the ball. Terry is a very, very good wide receiver. And if Jaden Daniels is as good of a passer as as I've heard from some analysts, then that makes me very intrigued. And I think Tampa is a pass funnel as well. Who knows if that's changing this season? But last year, you don't run against Tampa,
Hmm.
so then we're going to throw the ball, and it's going to be especially if we keep getting this. Oh yeah, it's going to rain then Terry's going to go, more and more undrafted.
Yeah, that's true. Let's give it a little scroll here. I think the Ridley plays okay. I think DeAndre Hopkins will be completely unowned, and if that team plays like as fast as we expect, I think Deontay Johnson has early season. Adam Thielen of
Yeah.
last year feels good. If we think Canales is truly the quarterback whisperer. I think these guys are all like clickable in the six mans, but they're definitely more palatable um in the 12s.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. In the 12s, I think the next wide receiver one that really shows up for us is Josh Palmer. And that
Mm,
one is a little scary because like I don't think anybody thinks that Josh Palmer is having a ceiling, but
yeah.
to start the year, man, I think he's the wide receiver one. And, I've been spouting the hot take lately that I think he's going to lead that team in targets this season.
Hmm.
Being the alpha there against Las Vegas, that is a pretty tough matchup. But, just
There,
in the scope of looking for wide receiver ones that are scrolls,
yeah.
Josh Palmer, at least in the 12-person contest, I think actually has some merit.
There's a familiarity there too with with the team, with the offense, with Herbert. Like everybody else associated with that team, new coaching staff, new coordinator. new tight end options, new running back options. Like everything's new to him. Maybe Herbert just goes, yeah, where's the old guy I can trust? Not old in terms, but where's the guy who's been around that I can trust here, that I know is more reliable than some of these other options, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Familiarity plays a role in human connectionness.
Let's break down the human psychology here. But no, you're absolutely right. I think that's also part of it.
How about JSN, dude? Where DK Metcalf gets the Patrick Surtain treatment there, and we get a little bit of that Ryan Grubb up tempo. It's immediate leverage off Ken Walker, who goes every single draft. Nobody's really touching JSN this week. Second year breakout happens in week 1. What do you think?
I I I take your thesis
Mm-hmm.
and I raise you Tyler Lockett.
Oh, Tyler, lock it up, baby.
I think if
Holy.
your thesis is like Surtain treatment, let me take the next wide receiver on Seattle. Do Lockett first. I would
Ooh,
prefer to see JSN be worth picking over Lockett before I actually do it.
okay.
That's what best ball is for me. For now, like if I'm gonna do that, I would rather do Lockett, like especially early season Lockett.
Interesting. Okay, I'll take JSN.
Okay, okay, I like it.
Let's scroll a little bit
You can, yeah, like
here.
this isn't even too far in my opinion. Like Cortland Sutton, wide receiver 1 for
Yeah.
Denver, against Seattle. I'm kind of like excited to see Cortland Sutton, with Bo Nix. If Bo Nix can be a good NFL quarterback,
Yeah.
I think we're in for a pretty decent season for Cortland Sutton. I like Bo Nix. I think has the uh you know, reputation of being an accurate passer that typically does, short intermediate stuff. And that's not really what I think of Cortland Sutton as. But if you can keep the train, moving on time, Cortland Sutton, wide receiver 1, I would consider him borderline alpha in this Denver offense. Cause like who else is competing for targets there? It's, Josh Reynolds, who we like.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Devon Vele, is he going to be the wide receiver 3 for
Yeah, I don't
Denver?
know. Yeah, I
I
don't
mean, I
know.
guess his main target competition is like Jaleel McLaughlin. I think Sutton and probably more of a 12-man play, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, just again looking for wide receiver 1s with like with not a lot of target competition. I think Sutton fits that bill very very nicely this week.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thought process associated with your kind of like overarching take right now is like searching for like the guys who are depth chart guys right now. So I think you're really looking for like projectable volume at these back ends.
That yeah, exactly. I think
Yeah.
in Sutton, I think represents that, and it's probably
Okay.
the cutoff for me. Like once you get down here, it does get a little dicey. But there's your DeAndre Hopkins, who I think is, I think that's a good shout.
Yeah, Hopkins could be something this week. It sounds like he's going to play. It's trending in the right direction. Get a couple practice reports. If that team plays fast, if that team throws as much as we thought in the preseason, it's kind of like your Tyler Lockett thesis, I guess, but with a better player, potentially future Hall of Famer. Yeah, I think just the ability to like play these guys while they're healthy, like like kind of like
That's
Chris
that's what
Schwab.
I think. That's what I
Yeah,
think. All right, let's move on to tight end. We're getting close to our time here. Tight end, I think, is probably the top heaviest position on the slate this week.
yeah. It would also not shock me if it doesn't separate at all.
Of course.
So
Yep.
yeah, it's just kind of like, do I want to consolidate ownership at the top of boards in high total games because I think these players are talented, or do I just want to take like scattershot back end stacks? Um, I think both is viable. Right now, I've been Trey McGronk, tight end 1, and Trey
Yeah.
McGronk with Kyler over and over again. That's
Yeah.
kind of been my mantra. But you could spin the exact same narrative there for Kincaid. The problem is, from an ownership standpoint, it's not always going to be there for you because you can't get Josh Allen every single draft. Whereas um, I can get Kyler every single draft with McBride if I want it. And maybe that's a blind spot by me to be pairing those together over and over again. Maybe I got to be mixing in more naked McBride kind of thing. But yeah, give me Trey McBronk as tight end 1 this week, and then everything else I'll just take an ownership discount and I'll play like basically 0% of Jake Ferg and 0% of Bowers and 0% of like this, and I'll scroll for like stack guys.
Yeah. I do have like it does get ugly like once you get past Schultz. Where
Mm-hmm.
now we're looking at Fryermuth. You know, I like Komet still, you know, Cade is thin, and then it leads me to Zach Ertz, man. And I know it's
Oh my God, we're
gross.
doing it. We
I know
said
it's
dog
gross,
ball
man,
winner.
but like,
We said it
dude,
a week ago. Zach Ertz, dog bowl winner for week 2. You're jumping the shark to week 1 already.
dude, yeah. I think Zach Ertz is gonna run a lot of routes, and I think it's gonna tilt a lot of people and like, oh man, like you know, Dusty Zach Ertz, he's on the field, yeah, he's
Yeah.
taking all these snaps from my, you know, my lovely Ben Sinnott, but I think he's gonna run a lot of routes and probably project much better than people are anticipating
Oh.
when these projections do eventually come out.
Yeah, I think you're probably right on all accounts there. I could just see the most tilting 10 target, 7 catches, 35 yards, and no score game of all time. Yeah, if he finds his way into the end zone, he could definitely be very viable in the 12 mans. I will not be trying to shoot the moon Zach Ertz in the 6 mans, I don't think. Like, I just think you need a higher ceiling to win the onesies in the 6 mans. But
Right,
I do really like it in the dog bowl.
but like you said, in that same vein, if none of these guys separate, you could be looking at a 3 point difference between tight end one and Zach Ertz.
That's fair. Yeah, if nobody separates, yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
But
That's the evergreen conversation with the ones at the onesies in the BR streets, right? Is if
100%.
nobody breaks the slate and nobody separates, then you can do this. If someone breaks the slate and someone separates, you're drawing dead. So, yeah, yeah, I see it, man. I see it. I see the path, but it was cringeworthy.
It is cringeworthy, but I'm gonna be doing it, so I'll at least I'm owning it.
Like it.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie, John. I am. I forgot that I regged for a goal line stand like hours ago,
Perfect.
and it's currently being drafted. Do you want to pick up where we left off with that?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Let me pull this thing up here. I'll get the draft board up for my lovely listeners or watchers here as well.
Oh,
I
you rolled the 101 while we were away.
did I?
Oh,
Oh
now we're
God,
on.
this is a different team. I
Yeah,
have the
this
wrong
is
team
something
up.
different. Yeah.
Sorry, thank you for noticing that because I was in the sprint because I don't have many football drafts left, so that's what happened there. Yeah, I got the 3 pick and I went Justin Jefferson.
Okay, here we go.
Let me
Beautiful.
pull up a draft board. Yeah, this is a goal line stand from the 3 hole for us getting this draft board up. There we go. Crash Rich has been in all of these goal line stands with me, all of them.
Oh yeah, he is. 'Tis the season, man.
Didn't really talk about Bijan a lot this week, but RB1 by ADP, and I think it's warranted. But you know, I would like to hear it from you, dude, because I'm a Steelers fan, so of course I think that the Steelers defense is good, and but it's like you know I also love
Yeah.
Bijan, but I do worry that his ceiling is just not enough to warrant where like the draft capital in these rooms. But I am taking him, you know, here and there. What do you think
Yeah.
about Bijan this week?
I think that like nobody will play him on redacted, and I think that's always like a good barometer.
Mm,
Like when someone's a leverage play and not actually the best play on the slate. That being
mm,
said, like Bijan's ceiling is massive. We know this. We think he's probably the most talented or one of the top 4 or 5 most talented running backs in football. But like, it's not something I'm looking for this week. I'll take Hill, I'll take CD, and I'll take Jefferson over him. Um, that's where I'm at right now. I have zero Bijan through my first like 15. I think at 18 drafts, I have zero Bijan.
mm-hmm,
So I don't know, man. Like, do I get it? Yeah, I think I'm a Steelers defense respecter. I think I'm a little bit of like a Arthur Smith bull. Uh, I don't know, man. I just think that game when the pace metrics come out and stuff, that game is going to chew a lot of clock. that game is going to be not nearly as fast and as up tempo as like we're hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I
I
agree, dude.
just think it's going to
I
grade
agree.
out poorly. I think it's going to grade out poorly.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think Bijan's going to jump off the page for
Yeah.
us for projections. So it's been tough for me to get to him. That's why I went Jefferson over him, just especially because of the depth at running back, and that's why you talk about redacted ownership. I mean, there's really good plays over there at salary wise, and like even on our platform, a lot of really good running backs picks after him that
Right.
I think just are not that different of bets.
I think it's
Um,
yeah, it's the macro thesis associated with like scrolling at running back feels like the best place to scroll this week.
mhm. So I do like James Cook here. I
Okay.
also like Alvin Kamara. Uh, and I think Olave is a pretty decent pick as well. But do you have? I mean, Adams is here as well.
Yeah, I'd probably find running back later, and I would do like Adams or DJ Moore that set me up for a stack that I can fall back on. I think I like the DJ Moore stack more.
Cool. Let's
Um,
do that.
yeah, I think I would do something like that. Like if you can get Adams back here and you can run three like kind of like alpha in quotations wide receivers, I'm really fine with it this week. That being said, I do think running back in the flex is going to play probably better as like a macro strategy this week. That's kind of like my initial takeaway. I'm not sure I'm
So,
correct on it, but like
yeah, I
that's
think
where I'm looking for scoring.
so. Here's kind of like where I land on that. Over the course of the season, yes, I do
Yeah,
think running back in the flex is the move. I kind of think wide receiver in the flex this week could play really well, just because of like what you can do.
yeah. Let's do
Like
it.
like you
Let's
can do things like this, where
yeah,
Devontae Adams is your flex.
right.
Like, oh man, I think I might actually prefer Devontae Adams, especially in like the large field thing, like goal line stand or BR. But maybe in DeBomb, I would actually probably opt for a running back in the flex. But in these tournaments, I think we could see wide receiver in flex take it down, which would be good for us, John, because we both agree that running back in the flex more often than not is
Hmm.
the move. But
Yeah.
if wide receiver in the flex takes it down week one, you are going to see a ton of wide receiver in the flex week two.
I fully agree with everything you just said. I really like this man, this build right now where you can get these like Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore, Devontae Adams start. Like that's crazy, man. Like that shit's not gonna
Extremely
be
fun.
around in a couple of weeks.
No way. I just got a push notification from the Underdog NFL account.
Hmm.
Zach Taylor on Jamar Chase's status for week one. We'll just take it day by day.
That's fucking bullish, not holy.
All right.
Yeah, that's tough, man. That's
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer that that your stud wide receiver one is going to play in week one, but that's just me.
right. Yeah. I mean, it's such an unprecedented situation where we've cited this before, where like the Bengals aren't a team that they do weird shit with contracts, right? And they're not a team that's gonna like cave, historically speaking. They're not a team that would cave to a rookie, not rookie, but like rookie
Rookie deal.
contract deal. Yeah, like rookie deal player who is holding out in their third, not their fourth year. So they're just like the precedent is set by the Bengals organization that they just don't fuck with this. So why all of a sudden would we think? Yeah, it's very interesting.
Something to monitor, just like I said.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be insane if he doesn't play and collect the game check and like accrue service time, but
right.
I
Can
mean, yeah.
can you bring up the board for a second? I'm curious
Sorry.
where he
Yep.
went in this draft. And then I'm just curious like where we'd feel comfortable taking him. So he still goes at 6 in this one. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's probably way safer. ATN's way safer. HN has a massive ceiling. Um,
12, like 1-2 turn for me. And even then, like I don't even know if I would hold myself to that.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we said a week ago, like when this, or Friday rather, when this contest first dropped, that like the GM is going to be Q tag Jamar that falls to like the fourth round, and someone gets like a super team in quotations with him and he plays. Like that's going to be the Giannis Q tag fall of this.
Yeah.
Now
Good,
that being said,
really good
like
metaphor.
yeah, it's like that being said, it's kind of like I don't know, man. Like I'm not gonna just keep clicking him all week long, but That's kind of a scary proposition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for our audio listeners,
Hmm.
at pick 3, we went Jefferson, DJ Moore, Devontae Adams. That Jamar Chase team at pick 6 went Jamar Chase, Marvin Harrison, James Conner, Joe Burrow. We have a Keon Coleman third round sighting. Very interesting. Did not go to the Josh Allen drafter. The Josh Allen drafter instead did the tried and true Josh Allen dig stack. I wonder if they are aware of that current teammate situation. Um, John, I think we can wait on QB.
I think we go Schultz for the leverage off the other stuff, and we just play that game environment.
I like it because you don't
Because
need the
like,
stack, and it's just like, what if he ends up like catching a touchdown or two?
if Schultz catches 2 touchdowns, you take down like 5 other teams with you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's like 5
Mm-hmm.
other teams in every single lobby.
Mm-hmm.
So he is kind of like the ultimate leverage off of like the 4 other Houston pieces there. But you can also stack it up with like a mix-in thing and do like a Houston funnels, and they score a lot of points and play through there. Is this a
I really
Sam
like
Darnold
that.
team for you in your mind?
Um, I would prefer Caleb.
Yeah, but you're willing to just push it and just see which one we get, kind of thing.
I think I would actually take Caleb if he fell.
Let's see. Can you pull up the running back tab?
Yeah.
So what are we
So
looking at?
Ford, Najee, Swift, Javonte Williams, Tony Redacted, Zamir White, Zach Moss, Chuba, Motor, Ramondre, Chase Brown.
Man, there's
Those
just
are
15 touch running backs and positive scripts all over the place.
it's crazy. It's crazy. That's what makes me
Yeah,
want to go Caleb because I think Caleb has some rushing upside. Maybe DJ Moore is a guy you need, but maybe he's also just like scoring touchdowns all around, and he becomes QB1.
sure.
So I would prefer Caleb. We want Caleb there. So now we just need a running back, and like you said, John, so much projectable volume back here. Some of it, I'd even say most of it, in positive game script.
Yeah,
Your boy Zach Moss, man, I think is a really good pick
same.
this week,
Yeah,
especially if Jamar Chase isn't playing
yeah, I agree with you. I like it.
or in a limited fashion.
Hmm. Yeah, they clearly like him too, man. They went out, they got him, they gave him money. They didn't want to re-sign Mixon. They gave him a 2-year deal instead of a 1-year deal. They know the pass pro. He's a good pass pro guy. Like, I like it, dude. The fantasy community is so bullish on like Chase Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta see it first. I gotta see it.
Yeah, and I mean, at the goal line when they have Zach Moss or Chase Brown,
Hmm.
at least in week 1, who's really getting the first crack at the
Right,
2-yard touchdown in week
right.
1?
Yeah, fully agree with you, man.
If it's Chase Brown, I'll take my L. And it really is just the summer of Davis Maddock. But
Yeah.
dude, I'm going to bet on Zach Moss because I think we both think that he's not bad. And
Hmm.
you know what? I'll throw out the hot take that I think Zach Moss might be kind of good.
Yeah. I
I
think.
don't know. I really
I mean,
like what I saw last year. Really did.
I keep citing like some of the rushing yards over expected last year, and like he was leading in yards per carry last year. Granted, the offensive line play was really good for the Colts there, and he was running with like a rushing quarterback, but he played very well to start last year for the first 8 weeks before Jonathan Taylor came
Played
back.
so well. It's
Played so
almost
well.
it's hard to ignore. Like we
Yeah.
have, two small sample size running backs there in Cincinnati. One has one really sick catch for a touchdown. The other one has a lot. The other one has at least 4 games of like a really good sample.
Yeah.
And they had the chance to pick up Samaje, didn't.
Hmm.
The answer is probably both over the course of the season, but something tells me in my spidey senses that Zach Moss, man, against a putrid Patriots team, you want to talk about error bars there. I talked about just throwing out the idea. Oh, like what if it's an upset?
Hmm.
What if it's an absolute smackdown of the Patriots and they just can't move the ball at all? The offensive line is as bad as advertised against this strong Cincinnati pass rush.
Yeah.
It could be Zach Moss 3 touchdown season.
Like Who's the player in? Sorry, I'm just looking at this and I'm puzzled and shaking my head. Who
Sure.
is the player in the 112 there?
Dak for MVP, not me.
We got a red badge player here who just willingly took an unstacked Baker Mayfield, and then I was like, oh, he's gonna go Chris Godwin for the leverage, and then he just takes Deontay Johnson instead. Like,
Godwin did go, but yeah, I think he's got week
oh,
17 brain.
I'm just kind of like, there's some teams that just happen in these lobbies sometimes that I'm just like, I would never find my way to this, and like, how if this thing wins, I'm just like, sure.
Uh-huh.
Like if Ken Walker, Trey McGronk with naked Baker is what you need, like hat tip, buddy. Like what? Like I just
Yeah.
don't get that. I talked myself into Zach Moss there. Did you talk yourself into Zach Moss?
I love Zach Moss, dude. I take Zach Moss in the 6-mans.
Yeah, I agree with you. I take him there too. I like it this week.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know.
I think the second best play would maybe be Tony Pollard as
Yeah.
a run back, but with these 6-person lineups, man, I don't think that you need to force these run backs in these type of deals. If that's
Uh,
your if that's the thing you like to do, I'm not gonna yuck anybody's yum, but
mhm.
I'd rather just take like the best play more often than not in a vacuum.
Yeah, I mean, like best play in quotations is like it's kind of like Moss and Pollard are probably going to be like half a point different in terms of projection, and they're probably going to be like 2 points different in or 2 touches different in terms of like projected touches. So it's like who's to say what is the best play there? But yeah, I'm in lockstep with you where it's like playing into the ownership of run backs in 6-man rosters is probably bad. But if it's the guy you need, it's the guy you need. So, but I think in a vacuum, it's probably overstated in terms of like how we build. Now, if we're talking about like aping into an isolated game environment in a primetime palooza with like 2 games, I think it's a completely separate conversation.
Yeah, that's a good point. John, I am I need to like unplug my dongle and plug it back in so that way I
Mm-hmm.
can access the StreamYard window because my monitor sometimes goes black like it is right now. I haven't been able to see your beautiful face this like for most of this stream. So
Well,
like
it's probably a good thing because I've been moving all over the place. I've been zooming
I
it like
see you up
way
I
in
see
like
you up
this. So.
close. So you can go ahead and give our shouts, give what you need to do. I need to try to fix this in 5 seconds.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, do us a favor, guys. Please hit that like, hit that notification bell, all that sort of thing. There, we are bringing you guys underdog content Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Our new show, Off and on the Clock, with Pete Overzed, which is now almost a year running. Actually, hat tip to us, guys. This is officially 2 years of the Badge Bros. As of, I think the date was August 30th was 2 years of the Badge Bros. So appreciate you guys being here. Some of these names still been here since the jump. I see GA in the chat here. I see Chipsy in the chat. I see Blake in the chat. Some of these names have been day one guys with us since literally when we had like 5 viewers. So much love, much appreciation to you guys. Nez, I was just hitting on the fact that it's been 2 years of the Badge Bros as of Saturday.
No way.
Yeah. So that's
Oh, wow.
yeah, life comes at you fast, dude.
I'm gonna get a little
Yeah,
sentimental,
crazy stuff.
dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, man, we've been doing this, 4 to 5 times a week for 2 years now. Kind of cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, like John said, thanks to all the OGs and even the new members, even if you haven't been here since day one.
Hmm.
We appreciate all you guys for the success that we've had so far. Owe it a lot to you all. So we really appreciate your support, and this is going to be a fucking kick-ass NFL season. I can feel it. I can feel it,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be anchored by that flagship show on Fridays. There, for those who are new, that don't really know the vibe, we kind of do like a full breakdown, just Nez and I, on Wednesdays. That's kind of our first like 2 hour deep dive. It's a similar vibe with to today's show, but with more information, more projections, more formal. When I got the computer up and Nez is in his battle station there this week, a little preliminary intro because it's a Monday, not a Wednesday there. So this will be kind of like your prime battle royale stomping grounds. We'll talk through it from the 6-man window. We'll talk through it through the 12-man window, and then we'll kind of put our finishing touches on it on the Fridays there.
Yep, because as we all know, things change a lot during the week. Projections
Mm-hmm.
change. A lot of stuff changes. So that Friday show for Off and on the Clock, I think starting next week is Fridays. But yeah, no, that'll be huge. And yeah, man, it's gonna be an awesome season.
Yep, it's gonna be great. Nez, you ready to tie a bow on it there?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's get back to your fake holiday, as you
Yeah.
say. Real, it's real to me, damn it.
Yeah, Labor Day in honor of Bria's labor.
Yes.
Yeah. Big shouts to Nez. Gonna be Daddy Nez in the future. Much love, bro. That's incredible news that you guys are sharing today.
Yeah, thanks, dude. We're super pumped. I appreciate everybody in the chat. I saw your comments. I appreciate you guys. That's it's felt. The love is felt.
Love it. Good luck to everybody playing in the baseball streets. Good luck to those in the community who are still in the Dinger finals. There, I will be in the Battle Royale streets primarily tomorrow and stuff like that. Not being able to draft in Vegas as of Wednesday. Oh, this is gonna be my last show for kind of like this week or whatever. So if you guys are hanging out in Vegas, hit me up in Discord, hit me up on the Twitter, hit me up on any of that stuff. I'm down to do whatever. Probably going to play a little poker for like one day, and then outside of that, I'm wide open. So, yeah, going to be at some of those watch parties, and we'll be at the ship chasing event on the Friday. So please come hang out.
Super jealous I can't be there, but I think it's somewhat understandable now as to what my absence is excused for. But you guys have fun. That's always such a blast, man. The vibes are immaculate. At least they were last year. I know they will be again this year. Such a like rare thing to have a group from the internet meet up and be like so chill and so awesome. So really, really jealous I can't be there. You guys gonna have a blast.
Yeah, looking forward to it there. All right, on behalf of Nez, on behalf of myself, I am John, that's Nez, and this is everybody's favorite time on the show. The end. Peace. Nez,
Wish
you
me
gotta hit the
luck.
button.
Think I can do this?
I believe in you. Hit that like and subscribe on your way out the door.